Okay, we'll start chapter 8 with multiplication properties of exponents. No graphing to worry about here. We're just going to kind of rely on our number sense and some things we know about exponents and order of operations as we go along. So if you turn to page 160, we're going to do some writing here on the left side of what you've got. Let's start with this first one called the product of powers property. Here's what we'll write. Let's write down something kind of simple that we probably are going to be able to figure out. Let's use an exponent, or not an exponent, but a number like 4 to the third power, and we're going to times that times 4 to the fifth power. Okay, now think a little bit about what you know here. What we know is that 4 to the third power is like saying 4 times 4 times 4. Now 4 to the fifth power is like saying 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. Now go ahead and count up how many 4s you see. Whoops. How many 4s you see in this area. And you should see 8 of them. Now look how 3 and 5 become 8. When you add them up, they become 8. Even though we're talking about multiplication here, we're going to be adding these exponents. So here's what we'll write. To multiply powers having the same base, we're going to add the exponents. And here's how it looks. A to the m times a to the n is a to the m plus n, and that always works. Now our next one is called the power of a power property. So let's illustrate that one real quick. The power of a power property looks like this. On our illustration on the left, we'll try something kind of easy here. We'll do 3 to the second power, and what we're going to do is take it all to the fourth power. Now, well, here's how I'll write this. Think about 3 to the second power. That means 3 times 3. But what the fourth power says is we've got to do everything in here 4 times. 4 times itself 4 times. So it goes like this. Here's another 3 times 3. Here's another 3 times 3. And another 3 times 3. So what we've got is we've got it 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So the relationship looks like this. There are 8 total 3's there. So to find the power of a power, what you do is you multiply the exponents. Now, if you're having trouble keeping these straight, notice how there weren't any parentheses here, but there were here. So here's how it looks. It's written as a to the m times n power. So you can go ahead and write that down. Now our last one is called the power of a product property. Now we'll illustrate this one by taking our calculator, and we're going to try to do this. Let's put a parentheses right here, and we're going to write 4 times 2 and close the parentheses, and then we're going to raise all this to the third power. Now if you take out your calculator and think a little bit about this, really what this means is it's really 8 to the third power, isn't it? That's what 4 times 2 is. So with your calculator, let's do 8 to the third power. 8 raised to the third power comes to 512. So I'll go ahead and write that down right here. Now, instead what we're going to do is we're going to take a different approach. We're going to take this 3 times 3 into the 4 and the 3 into the 2 here. So we're going to write this differently. We're going to write 4 to the third power, and we're going to write times 2 to the third power. Now this is what the property is. 4 to the third power, a lot of people know this is 64. And then a lot of people know that 2 to the third power is 8. Now if you take your calculator again and you do 64 times 8, look what it comes to. It comes to 512. So this is still the same thing. Now the property looks like this. To find the power of a product, find the power of each factor and multiply. And finally, you can write this down as this: a to the m power times a to the n power.